just kind of giving an update on what has been going on. For not having traditional work, everybody's certainly working really hard, and the days seem busier and more intense than I think they are when we're all face to face. So it's been a fascinating experience. But we're so grateful that we are moving, and we're grateful for what we've done. I think we've had great confidence in the actions we've taken. We've had great support from a couple of our parents who are in that arena of infectious disease control. So they've been really helpful as they've guided us through this process. There's been more and more articles being read about COVID, and probably more than we want to. But most of all, we're really grateful for our families who have been so generous of spirit and of heart. So we appreciate what you have done and hanging with us as we, every hour make different decisions. It's becoming a little less unpredictable, I think. So we're just really grateful for the teachers, for all the work that they have done, and our leadership team for pulling things together constantly and working behind the screens and the scenes to make all the pieces work. And we're going to address this a little bit later, but in spite of the fact that we are not seeing each other, there are three key elements for success, if we want to call it success, is that we all know that everybody needs a sense of belonging. And we hope that we have been continuing to open our hearts and souls to all of our children, families, and teachers to give you a sense of belonging, that this organization really cares about you. We have not had to furlough anybody, and so we're really grateful to that, or lay anybody off. So we're really grateful. It gets a little scary, but we hung in there, and we have gotten the relief we need to have gotten. So we feel really good about that. So giving you all a sense of belonging, and to giving teachers power over the work, over their videos. They weren't micromanaged. People did whatever they needed to do their videos. They've taken some incredible risk. The teachers have been calling and setting schedules and using a great sense of values to execute on that work. So giving you all a sense of belonging and giving a sense of power. But most of all, we want everybody to really feel like, that UCC and Loom really care about the people, and we really love you, and we love our children. And I don't use that word lightly, but I can say it with great confidence within our organization. We love what we do. We love being with you all. So we're just so grateful. And so with that, I would like, Laura, you want to step in and give everybody the update on what we're doing?
Absolutely. So, about 2 to 3 weeks ago, we were approached by WashU and asked to open up for their first responders, and we responded wholeheartedly yes, with about 7 to 8 teachers and some administrators who were willing and able to step in. Unfortunately, they didn't have the need that they thought they would have. So for the past 2 or 3 weeks, we've been thinking about what else can we do? And we then reached out to our own internal families to see what kind of need and support there was for childcare. So today, we had our first UCCC kids in the building again for a good 7 hours for those in our own internal families who are first responders and essential workers. And let me tell you, it was pretty amazing to be in the building with kids walking through that front door. And I shouldn't say walking, skipping, jumping, hugging. It was pretty wonderful. So we are open again. We're going to be continuing to accept more as we can through the county health department and the county executive order. So it's really exciting. We're working very closely with the St. Louis County Health Department and making sure that we're following all of the CDC guidelines and the healthcare and taking every precaution necessary. And it's been an amazing experience. Even though we have just 7 children in the building now, we look to be able to gradually add more children to the center so those families can get back to work as they need to. So then, and that means everybody else is wondering when they can come back. And right now we still don't know, though we are on a lot of calls with both the city and the county health departments and their officials and the executive officials. Right now, our stay-at-home order for the St. Louis County is in place till mid-May. So we are making plans to begin a reopening process as soon as that stay-at-home order is lifted. We know that childcare is going to be the first business organization to reopen because no one else can go back to work if their children don't have a safe and caring and loving place to go. So we are making those preparations now as if we will be reopening mid-May when that stay-at-home order is lifted. I don't have any inside knowledge as to whether or not that will be lifted. So we could come back as early as mid-May. If the stay-at-home order is lifted, we will have to abide by that stay-at-home and just continue to serve essential families during that time. So I want to make sure that you're very clear that we don't have a date yet, but we are preparing to open as soon as mid-May, whatever that date might be when we get that date. I do want to note that if you do have any questions throughout this time, please put them in the group chat. I know everybody's muted right now, but if you have questions for us during this time, feel free to get on that group chat and ask those questions. We'll be monitoring them throughout this time here. So I did want to, we are working again very closely with the health department and CDC. So when we do get to come back, the building will be prepared. The teachers will be prepared, and we're going to talk about what we're doing to get prepared and doing to be ready for all of us to come back in just a few moments. Did Frank come on? Did I see Frank come on?
Yes.
There he is. Hi, Frank. I'm going to turn my spotlight off so you can talk here, if I can figure that out.
What would you like me to say?
Will you just give a update very briefly from your perspective on the financial standpoint here?
We continue. You want me to go all the way with this, Steve? Yes or no?
I'd go with it.
We're good for at least, I don't like that home view thing. I got to go to the gallery. Sorry. We're good for at least 2.5 months, friends, because we got our PPP loan today. Yeah. Thank you. I'm with you. I'm acting like I'm calm, but inside very much jumping for joy. It's frankly been worth the effort. By continuing to pay our staff with any luck at all, we continue to retain everybody, which is, in my opinion, critically important for your children. And frankly, really, you know, from a personal perspective, it's just the best group of people I've ever worked with. And so this gives us some breathing room. Doesn't get us out of anything, but it gives us a substantial amount of breathing room, and I can go to sleep at night.
Yeah.
Thanks, Frank.
What else can I say?
I mean, we could stop there and I'd be really happy. Thank you for all of your hard work. And it needs to be mentioned that we wouldn't be able to get to this point without our fabulous community and our parents who've continued to donate and continue to make tuition payments. We would not be here at this moment having this call with you right now if it weren't for you all. So we really, really can't say enough about the support that we've gotten from our own community here, and we really appreciate you. So we want to spend the last few minutes talking about coming back, because that's happy news too. Again, we don't have a timeline, but we are going to start preparing our return. And, you know, we are really being very conscious of the effects that this pandemic and this stay-at-home order has had on everybody, not just our children, but our teachers and our families as well. So we have lots of plans in the works, as this is brand new, about how to kind of approach this return, whatever that might look like. We don't know what kind of requirements will be put on us when we do come back in full capacity, if full capacity is something we can come back to. So we are having to put into place a lot of different plans, plan A, plan B, plan C, and a lot of different gradual ramp ups to when we can all be back to relative normalcy. So I want to turn it over to Jessica for a couple of minutes so she can talk about what we're really thinking through with teachers and what they're going to be doing in the next couple of weeks as we get ready to welcome them back in the building.
Yeah. So obviously our teachers are kind of the backbone of the organization, and we wouldn't be able to support children and families the way that we do without them. So we've been thinking about them a lot throughout this whole time and trying to put in place all kinds of things to support them as they're working really hard to support our families and our children. So over the last couple weeks and kind of over the next couple weeks, we've been really trying to help focus on some PD for teachers, as well as some pod meetings, some office hours, different things to allow teachers to get back together in groups to talk about what comes next, what they're doing already, and then also to really think about kind of the future. So we had the opportunity, we missed our PD day in March, and we had some really great things happening for that PD. And one of them was we have some friends at Forest Park Forever who did a PD, who were going to do a PD for us that day on outdoor play and nature. And thankfully, one of them was willing to record it via Zoom. And so all of our teachers are having the opportunity to listen to that virtual training and really start thinking about outdoor play and nature and our playground and kind of some of those things moving forward, which is awesome because when we come back, it's going to be perfect outside time and weather. And then we also are going to be doing a focused professional development for our teaching teams and pods to really help them start thinking about the return process. Returning from this is, you know, everybody's really excited about it and we can't wait for it to happen, but there's a lot of emotions mixed up in it for children, for families, and also for teachers. So part of that for us is to really help teachers work through how they're feeling and what they need to be able to support children and families when they walk in the door. So we'll be doing a professional development to really help pods start thinking about their needs, and then also how they're going to support families when they walk in the door on that first day. And then finally, we have the opportunity to host Tamar Jacobson, who is a internationally known early childhood guru. We've had her do professional development for us before over the last several years, and she's willing to do something with us in the next couple of weeks. So we're going to have that opportunity as well, which we're really excited about because she really gets at the heart of supporting children in their emotional development and making sure that our teachers are able to resource emotional support for children. So I think I covered everything, but feel free to jump in, Laura, if I missed anything.
No, that's great. I think the one thing that I would add is we will be reaching out to individual families here and also be putting up a lot of parent resources to how you can start helping prepare your children for a return. I don't know if you're like me, but my 4-year-old's nap schedule is non-existent right now. So we're going to be working on a routine and trying to get back to, you know, some normal, consistent routines for my little guy. And that's going to be really helpful for not only him, but his teachers and his classmates when he comes back, because he's just spent the last 6 weeks, like all of your children, alone at home and not with 12, 13, 14 other kids who he's going to have to navigate this emotional roller coaster with all over again. So we'll be working on putting out some of those additional parent resources, more parent hours, so for you to watch live on Zoom so we can answer your questions, but also we'll have them recorded and up on our YouTube channel. I hope everybody watched Miss Melinda's potty learning video, because it had a lot of great information about regression. And we've had a lot of questions from parents about that. And it's basically due to the scary time that kids are feeling the stress and anxiety. So we want to give you all of the supports as a family to help your children and get them prepared to come back, knowing your child best. Are they going to be nervous? Are they going to be anxious? Are they going to bound through the door and then 2 weeks later realize, oh, now I'm not back home anymore? There's a lot of things that we are thinking about and want to be here to help support you make this transition back. Steve?
Well, I'm going to take it up a notch, okay? And for all the families that are on this call, this is an indication of the type of teachers and organization you're working with. When the conversation began about what do we need to do to have our children re-enter, what's it going to take? One of the first things that was stated is we want children to feel the hug. We want our children, we want our teachers to feel that they are being embraced by the organization. And it speaks volumes about part of the culture that you all are a part of. So we looked at, and you could hear it in Jessica and Laura's conversations, we have to make sure the teachers come back feeling wholehearted. There's the logistics of it. What am I going to do? I've been binge watching TV till the late wee hours in the morning, and my own schedule's off. How do I show up for work at 6 o'clock? Those are things. They're logistical things that everybody has to work on. But what we really want to embed is how do the teachers understand that we're going to hold their souls in order for them to be prepared to embrace your child when they walk through the door. And what does it take? We've already figured out the logistics stuff. Then they're moving pieces. But it's the matters of the heart, because the children that are coming back, they've been gone for 6 to 8 weeks. And the children who were crawling are now walking. The kids who might have had a loose tooth, they have garages in their mouth. Children who were potty learned are not potty learned. Kids that were not potty learned are now potty learned. So they're coming back. They're going to see things differently. They're going to see our teachers differently. We're going to see them differently. And there may be some shifts in classrooms. Things are going to continue to look different. How do we embrace the souls of our children as they walk into the door? And frankly, for moms and dads, how are you going to walk into the door? And how do you prepare your child for this getting back on a schedule, but getting back to saying goodbye, to getting out of pajamas, to developing some routines? And some of the suggestions, as far as notice as we can get, is to begin thinking about what a routine could look like for your child. What's the routine going to look like for you? Many of you have not had that morning battle to get your kids ready for school. This is an opportunity that we get to have a do-over, that you can reframe how we're going to get out of the house in the morning. So it is looking at getting the teachers up to speed, encouraging the families to think about the nuances of their relationships with their children as they are preparing to re-enter the school setting. And then how do we all gather around our children and get our children prepared to come in? Some of them aren't going to like it, and that's all part of the process. you'll have tears, we'll have ambivalence, because when we stop school, it was an abrupt stop. That's an abandonment for a child. So we have done a lot through this period to try to mitigate the child's emotional understanding that everybody just left me. I lost my teachers, I lost my friends, I lost my building. So these are opportunities for us to really begin to, get our children emotionally prepared to enter the school space. The teachers will it will help children develop their sense of belonging and their sense of love and sense of power. And we, through this whole process, we're hoping you, moms and dads, grandmoms and grandfathers, who's ever the primary or involved in that child's life, to be part of any or all of the activities and experiences that have been offered to you. So we're really grateful for that. Laura mentioned and Frank mentioned about we got our PPP grant and the philanthropic world, but I can't tell you how indebted we are. Our philanthropic partners have come to us and said, how can we help you? And they're not just our local partners, they're some of our funding agencies from around the country who have said, we want to support. We want our partners to come out of this wholehearted and fiscally solid. So we have worked really hard to put all these pieces together. And again, it's not, nobody's doing it alone. Peter Stevens, who many of you may know or not know, Elena Blackwell, Tamika, Laura, we have really all been holding the gauntlet towards fiscal solvency and philanthropic success. So we're just grateful for this. We've learned a lot about our internal muscle. We're coming out of this feeling really confident. So, Laura, that's all I have to share. And I appreciate, we couldn't be doing this with a better group of people. Thank you.
Couldn't agree more. On that note, I'm going to ask the really great people, our teachers, to cover your ears, take your earphones off. Don't listen to this next piece. 3, 2, Melissa, I see you. Parents, families, next week is Teacher Appreciation Week. We desperately need your help. Please send in a picture, just a quick snapshot of you, your family, your child. It doesn't have to be anybody, just a picture saying thank you or we love you to your teachers directly. We would love to have those all by the end of this week so we can give that out as a gift to our well-deserving teachers. We are still going to be participating in Teacher Appreciation Week. So it's going to look a little differently. I think it's going to be phenomenal. I'm not going to give anything away because I see some teachers are still listening.
Yeah, they cheating.
They are cheating because I see some smiling. But please help us out and poke those other parents who may not be on the call today to send us some of those pictures as well. So we're ending on a great note. We got to see kids back today. I am very hopeful that in a short 3 weeks, we'll see even more kids through our doors. You know how to get in contact with us. Please stay in touch. We will be in touch with you to help you through the process of getting yourself and your children back ready to come into that hug at UCCC. So we thank you very much for joining us tonight. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I forgot to mention those pictures can go to anybody's email on the program team, but also to uccc@uccc.org. We made it really easy for you. So thank you all very much. Have a wonderful night.
We love you. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Good night.